Hey guys, you know who? And today we're in my kitchen. Take a look. Take a look. And we are trying something that I've wanted to do for a while now, and I really have no excuse for not doing it. Before, I just keep forgetting until I'm in the middle of doing something else. So, yeah. Anyway, today I've been wanting to try sugaring for a long time. It is supposed to be less painful than waxing, so that's awesome. And you can make it at home with things you probably already have in your pantry. So, practically free is right in my price range. So, we're gonna mix up the stuff and see how this works. I'm excited because I'm sure we all know that shaving can get really old. So I'm excited. I'm gonna run through the supplies and then we're gonna get going. Yay! Okay, so you are going to need 2 cups of regular old granulated sugar. That's what I have in my pan here. The candy thermometer is optional, but I have one, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it. If you don't have one, you don't necessarily need to run out and buy one unless you really want to. You do not need peanut butter and sun chips, but you will need a 1/4 cup of lemon juice and a 1/4 cup of water, which I have mixed up here for a total of 1/2 cup of liquid. And I am just going to dump this right in my sugar. I don't have the temperature on yet, but I just want to give it a stir first. And kind of try and get all the sugar wet before I turn the heat on. Bonus, Jonas, this stuff smells good because of the lemon. Personally, I like lemon. I don't know about you. Okay, so it looks pretty well incorporated. I'm going to adjust my candy thermometer so that it's down in the liquid, but you don't want it touching the bottom of the pan. And this is going to boil up, so if it's not all the way in there, that's not a tragedy. And we're going to be heating this up to about 260 degrees Fahrenheit, which looks to be about roughly 125 Celsius. So I'm going to turn my heat on like medium high on my stove. That's a 6. And just stir, stir, stir. I will go ahead and just pause right now while it's heating up and come back once we actually get some action going here. Okay, it's just been a few minutes and I've been stirring it the whole time just to make sure that all the sugar gets incorporated and dissolves nicely. And you can see that we have boilage happening. And you want to stand here and watch it the whole time because you don't want it to boil over. That would be a horrendous mess. So I'm still just going along stirring and kind of pushing the liquid up onto the sides to get any residual sugar granules that might have stuck to the sides of the pan. Because you don't want any of those little buggers escaping. And I'm just going to keep an eye on the temperature. We're not quite at 200 yet. And seriously guys, this smells amazing. I love lemon though, so I mean, and obviously this is just sugar and lemon and water, so you could totes eat this stuff if you really wanted to. Or, you know, you could use it to wax your special area. Whatever you feel like. So that looks like it's just bubbling along quite nicely. I'm gonna pause again and come back as we keep approaching 260. It'll probably get a little bit darker, so once that starts to happen, I will come back to show you what that looks like. Okay, I'm not sure how well it's gonna show on camera, but my stuff did get a little bit darker. I went a tad over 260, which is totally fine. You don't want to go way over, just because the hotter this stuff gets, the harder it's going to be once it cools off. Let me get rid of this thermometer here. And so obviously you don't want it to be like the consistency of a hard candy, because that is not going to work at all for you. But you also don't want it to be too runny, because then it's just not going to work. You basically just be smearing syrup on your body parts. So you can see this is still quite runny, but it's also just come off the heat. It's still extremely hot. And as it cools, it's going to thicken. So I'm just going to stir it here like this for just a little while. This will kind of help cool it down a little bit faster, and then I'm going to just pour it into a container, and then I'm going to stick it in the fridge for it to cool down even more. So that process is going to take a while, probably maybe even like upwards of a couple hours, just because this stuff is so hot. But once that is done and it is the consistency to be ready to use, I will come back and we will try it out. I will see you then. Okay guys, we're back. I went into my bathroom because there's better light, and this is what we end up with. And it's still pretty soft and warm, but that's good because we need it to be malleable so we can actually use it. And it really only took actually about an hour in the fridge to get to this point, so less than I thought. So you'd want to make sure that whatever part of your body that you're doing, there's no oils or anything on there. So I'm just gonna do my arm because it's easy to see. So I washed all the way up my arms with just Dawn dish soap because it gets rid of grease and oil and stuff. If you're doing your face, you know, you just want to wash your face, maybe use an astringent before you do this. But anyway, you're just supposed to like kind of smear this on in the opposite direction of your hair growth. And if this stuff was a little bit thinner than this, then, you know, you could totally do, like if it was a little bit warmer, it might be runnier. You could use like a popsicle stick for this. But I'm just going to kind of smush it on with my fingers and drag it. I'm dragging my fingers across it to spread it over my skin. So you do this in the opposite direction of your hair growth. This is backwards from waxing. And then you're pulling it off with the direction of your hair growth. So I just left kind of a little part that I can grab. And I'm just going to pull. That wasn't bad at all. Didn't quite get all the hairs, but, you know, this is the first time I'm doing this, so not totally surprised by that. And you can supposedly reuse the same piece of this stuff quite a few times, so as I'm handling it, it's cooling even more. It might be a little too firm now. But yeah, like I can see the hairs that are stuck in there. So it's working. It just may take a little bit of practice. This is the first time I'm doing it. I would say, based on my personal experience, that it is less painful than waxing because you're pulling it off in the direction of your hair growth, so you're not like ripping your hair out by the follicles, I guess, is the whole idea. It's quite sticky, but it's sugar, so. But it's working pretty well. Like I said, I probably just need a little bit more practice. This is the first time I've ever attempted this. So there's bound to be a learning curve. But mostly, you know, I already knew going into this that this is a thing. It's actually become very popular. And so I know that it worked. I knew that it worked going into it. I just wanted to test the idea that it's less painful than waxing, and I would say that it is. It's not totally pain-free, but definitely better than the experiences I've had with waxing. I don't know if you probably can't even see this. Yeah, it got a good amount of the hairs. As I'm handling it, like I said, it's cooling and getting firmer, so it's a little hard to work with. But yeah, you can see this made a lot of stuff, and you can just heat this up in the microwave whenever you're ready to use it. So I might go heat this up a little bit and continue on with my endeavor here. But you can just make a batch of this and keep it in the fridge, heat it up. I'd say do like 30-second increments when you're ready to heat it up, just so you don't accidentally get it scorching hot and burn yourself. That would not be my idea of a fun time. And if you heat it up to where it's a little bit runnier than this is, that probably might even work better. So I'm gonna try that. But then you could just like smear it on with a popsicle stick or something. But yeah. So far, I think this is pretty cool. I will definitely be playing with it more, kind of getting the technique down. And if you guys are interested, I can do a follow-up video once I have it figured out. It's kind of just fun to play with. Have you ever made taffy? Like, you have to pull it. It's kind of what this reminds me of. And also the great thing about this is since it's just sugar, it's gonna dissolve in water. So no, you know, funky residue that's gonna be really hard to get off of your skin later. It's just water will do it. So yeah, that's it for sugaring. I've got stuff all over my hands now. And I will see you guys for the next video. Let me know if there's anything you want to see. And don't forget to hit the button down below and subscribe. I will go ahead and put the recipe that I used in the description box as well. Bye!